We were gonna go to Miami for New Year's. After that one drink, I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in a moving van, looking down the barrel of a pistol.
In this video, we interviewed Kendra, a sex trafficking survivor, and she tells her story on how she survived this nightmare. But first, let me remind you, we have a gun giveaway going on right now. It's absolutely free, but it ends really soon. Just click the link in the description down below to reveal which brand new gun you could win.
My trafficking situation was different, I guess, from a lot of people. They feel like they can see these grooming techniques coming at them, or it's just like this blind target, I'm gonna attack you and take you. Mine was a mixture of both. I had the trafficker approach me. I declined. I said, look, I'm not into that kind of stuff. And then it was much later, these girls were hanging out, and I come from Orlando, and it was, you know, a small little city, you see Mickey Mouse, but Miami's like this glitz and glamour, and I had never been there. So they're like, let's go to Miami. They played on something I was already interested in. My defenses were down because I didn't suspect two girls that are my age to not only be willing to participate in this, but willing to participate in kidnapping somebody else. Like, they had been groomed and trauma bonded so much in their minds that this was the only way to keep him happy, was to go get what he wanted and he couldn't get. So he manipulated them to take me. And that's what I try to tell people. I'm like, some people aren't your friends. You have to really be aware of where you're going. And I even took my own car. We were gonna go to Miami for New Year's. And I was just like, hey, we're just gonna go for New Year's. We'll come right back. We'll bring you up there. Don't worry, don't spend your gas. And like the safety alarm went off in my head. I was like, no, don't worry, you know, I'll bring my own car. But I also took drinks that I didn't see them, you know, handle. So when they handed me a drink, after that drink, everything became foggy. And I was like, I'd been a pretty heavy drinker at the time, so one drink shouldn't have affected me. And after that one drink, I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in a moving van, looking down the barrel of his pistol. And he asked, we're not gonna have any problems, right? And it's like that little kind of psyche break. You're like, fight or flight. And in that moment, you know, it was like how do I survive this? And I said, no, we're not gonna have any problems. Yeah, they were all in the van, and and it wasn't like they willingly wanted to be there. It was like more like they had been groomed to think that this was the lifestyle they wanted. Like, I'll provide nice clothes for you and get your nails done if you go and do this for me. But some of the other girls, definitely, it was like that's what they felt like they deserved in life. And it was just, it's mind-blowing. What's funny is the first thing I was thinking, I was like, man, Kendra, how did you get yourself in this situation? Like, even in such a situation like that, I'm still mentally checking myself, like, how did I end up like this? And it's like, then my next direct thought was, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm not gonna make it out of this. And then it's like, no, you have to make it out of this. How do you make it out of this? I didn't want, I mean, looking down the barrel of a pistol, it's like, you have to think, okay, now I have to use my words to talk my way out of this. And then I just made him feel as comfortable that I wasn't going to leave until I could figure out how to leave. From there, we went to Tampa, and then we went back through Miami, and then all the way out to South Carolina. So in a matter of 3 days, I was on the other side of this United States. So the house that we stayed in South Carolina, it was bare. It literally had just a clothing rack for our outfits and some suitcases and a couple of mattresses inside the rooms. But each one of our rooms didn't have locks, handle locks. They had key locks from the inside. All of our bedroom windows and the back doors were nailed shut so that we couldn't get out. So I believe when he snatched me, he felt like he could make money with me because I was a very money-focused individual. I'm very smart and very intelligent, and I was definitely the only one with my look. So I guess he felt like, you know, this is something that I could really monetize. And I had the conversation with him, and I was 100% serious in my heart. I said, you're just gonna have to shoot me now. I'm not gonna go into this room and this room and this room. And it was like a compromise that I guess he made in his head. He was like, well, if I can't make money off of you this way, he would send us all into the nightclubs. So he had some girls who would do in-calls, and that's specifically what they would do. And then the other girls that would go dance and bring back money. You don't leave out of a room with locked doors. It was his choice on when we would come out and when we would go back in. If you had to use the bathroom, you would knock from the door from the inside. If we were just home, he would decide that. And the way I earned my trust was I did what I was told. I didn't cause any problems because I definitely saw the abuse that the other girls sustained by not listening. So I kind of just played the rules accordingly. He would go out of town occasionally, but he would take us sometimes, or take the ones he didn't trust. It got to a point where he trusted me enough to leave me. and one of the girls forgot to lock the door at night. And I just saw it as, this is my opportunity, it's now or never. Not every one of my plans worked, so it was like hit or miss. It was like, I tried to ask to go see my mom, and he was like, well, just tell your mom to come visit. And I was like, oh no, that's not happening, so let's cross that off the list. And then I had plotted and planned with another girl, and she had just gotten attitude one day and just kind of started to tell too much of what we had planned. And he flew us down to Tampa with her and sold her to a gorilla pimp, and the pimp puts her inside of a dog cage and starts beating her with a broom in front of us and says, everybody understand this is what happens when you try to leave. And I was like, okay, so I guess I'm not leaving with her or that route. So I kind of actually relaxed a little bit after that. It was a little much. I still had the plan kind of worked up in my head, so when she had that door open, I was like, that's it, I gotta go. Whatever plan I had in place has to go down right now, because I'm not going to end up like that in the dog cage. I'm not. So her job was to make sure we went to work, we came home, we reported how much we made, and that everybody stayed inside and got locked up. And I guess she just didn't lock all of the doors at that time, like all of our doors at that time. So when I got up and I realized that my door was unlocked, it was like, she's sleeping, the key was in her door that was open on the outside, so that's how I could get out of the front door. So I just went, took the key, unlocked the door, and left. So I ran to a payphone, and I had called somebody that I met in the club, who I explained my situation, and he said, whenever you need to go, just let me know. I can't believe something like that's happening to somebody. I'll help you however you need. And I said, okay, well, I'm not ready at this moment. When I'm ready. So I ran to the payphone. I gave him a call. He came to pick me up. I stayed on his couch for 3 days, and he's like, well, why did you don't go home right now? And I said, I just left. He just lost money. He's not gonna be happy. So I'm assuming he's gonna come look for me. He did. He called my family. He told everybody he was gonna come look for me and kill me, and he was gonna send people to shoot up my house because he had my address, and it was very scary. And then he misplaced a necklace, a custom diamond necklace, and he thought I took it. So then he became like infuriated all over again, and by the time I'm just flying into town, taking a bus into town, all my family's like, look, I don't know what you did, I don't know what you stole, but give it back. I was like, I didn't steal anything, but he had been harassing my family, and when he found it kind of all went quiet after that. I went home, and it was alcohol, it was drugs, it was trying to forget what happened. It was self-loathing, because I had went to the police to report it, and the cop kind of just laughed me out of there. He's like, you were in the clubs, you were drinking, you don't even know his name, like, what do you want me to do for you? How exactly do you want me to help you? And I was like, you know what? Never mind. Just forget I brought it up. And I left. And like, at that point, sex trafficking wasn't a thing. It was very shameful for somebody to come forward and talk about this manner. I mean, right now it's beautiful that we're bringing all this, and showing what it's really about and what's really the situation. But at that time, you just didn't talk about things like that. So I just buried it. I started going to therapy, and, God bless my therapist, but she taught me how to bury it further. She didn't tell me how to deal with it. She didn't tell me, maybe you should learn from what happened and protect yourself and learn. It was just 100% bury it and move on with life. And I felt like I had a second chance at life. Like, I 100% felt like now is the time to turn your life around after I kind of hit bottom. I got home, I was depressed, I hit bottom, and I was like, I can't live like this. If I bury it and I just create this new persona, then I'll be fine. And I did that. I buried it for so long. I ran so far from who I was. I took 20,000 million classes on everything else to better myself, but I still hadn't dealt with, this was me, this is part of me, this happened to me, this wasn't my fault. So when I came out with my story 15 years later, people are like, oh my God, that happened to you? That just doesn't seem like the type of person that you are. And I think now is when I'm dealing with the emotions behind it and kind of seeing how it imprinted itself in situations in the rest of my life. And then when I was re-triggered was when I was like, don't let this happen to yourself again. You need to prepare. This is your advance warning. Get ready. Look at how long you've been living unprotected. You know what happens when you don't protect yourself, when you're not aware. You don't have the knowledge, so you need to work through that trauma, because I wasn't allowed to acquire some of the knowledge because the trauma was so great. I would start to go to training, and it's just like the commotion, everything going on, like the running and gunning on the range, it made me anxious, it made me nervous, it made me scared, and I'm not a scared individual, but I couldn't think straight. It was like I had to learn how to think again under pressure, just in a different way. It was training my mind for it now, not reacting to what happened. You know, this is the situation, and when it happens, I'm gonna positively identify it. But I was literally just watching TV, and I was attacked mentally, and my defenses were down. So going through that made me go through all my safety checks. Like, am I living, as my protection on my home okay? But that's not when you want to go through that and do those reality checklists, like, okay, am I safe? Am I well protected when I go out? You want to do those things beforehand. When it happens, you feel more at ease and more able to protect yourself, because if you're playing catch up in the moment, it's not, you're not going to be able to protect yourself. So when I felt that vulnerability, I went through my list. I said, okay, I need to up this, I need to up that. And I believe protecting yourself's not just about firearms. It's about that entire list. Are you mentally prepared? Is your house physically prepared? Do your kids have the knowledge? Do you have the knowledge? So when I went through that, I wasn't in immediate danger. So I felt like I got the jump on the gun. Like, okay, my safety feels threatened, but I'm not in immediate danger. So let me go ahead and make sure that I get my training in, that I get my house up to par, that I get my kids' knowledge of their protection up to par. And in case something happens, now I know I'm prepared, and I'm well-roundedly prepared.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of this important video. And I'll remind you again, we have that gun giveaway going on, and it ends really soon. All you need to do is click the link below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. I'm Kevin Michalowski, Director of Content for the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. If you like videos like this, please subscribe to this channel, click that notification bell, and we'll let you know every time something new comes out. And share this video. It could help others. Stay safe. We'll see you in the next video.